Hello everyone, this is the physics video for revision of chapter number 4. In previous video we have revised the chapter number 3, whole chapter number 3. In this video we will revise the whole chapter number 4. Okay, so chapter number 4 is about magnetic effects. Okay, due to current has magnetic effect that you have studied already. Chapter 4 you have studied, but now we will revise it. So first thing of chapter number 4 is magnetic field. Okay, what is magnetic field? What is the unit of magnetic field? So when current is flowing from the wire, okay, when current is flowing from the wire, suppose this is the wire and current I is flowing from this wire, then this wire is generating some effect, magnetic effect around it, and that we will measure by the magnetic field. Okay, in first chapter there was electric field. In this fourth chapter there is magnetic field. So when current is flowing from the wire, then this wire is behaving as a magnet. This wire is behaving as a magnet, and it is generating magnetic field around it. So that magnetic field is denoted by B. Okay, that magnetic field is denoted by B. You know its unit is Tesla. Okay. There are also another units of magnetic field, that is Gauss or Weber per meter square, that you will study in 6th chapter. Gauss is equals to 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. So these are the various units. And magnetic field. Magnetic field is vector quantity. To find out the direction of magnetic field, you should know the vector products rules. Okay, that you have already studied in 11th standard. Now first thing was in this chapter, that was Biot-Savart law. Okay, first thing in this chapter was Biot-Savart law, that is to find out the magnetic field. Biot-Savart law is used to find out the magnetic field around this wire, around this current carrying wire. So suppose this is wire from which current I is flowing, and we are taking one small element of current. Suppose we are taking one small element of current dl, and we want to find out the magnetic field at point P, which is at distance r from this wire. Okay, point P is at distance r from this wire. Then we can say that magnetic field at point P is defined as mu 0 upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon r square. Okay, this dB magnetic field is defined as mu 0 upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon r square. This is the Biot-Savart law. Mu 0 is the permeability. Mu 0 is the permeability of vacuum. That is the 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. Okay, theta is the angle between dl and r. Theta is the angle between dl and r. So this is the Biot-Savart law. There was one application of Biot-Savart law, that is to find out the magnetic field on the axis of ring. Okay, there is one application of Biot-Savart law, that is suppose this is ring from which current I is flowing, and to find out the magnetic field on the axis of ring. So suppose this is ring, this is the axis of ring, point P. So at point P, suppose point P is at distance x, ring has radius r, then at point P magnetic field was derived. At point P magnetic field was derived mu 0 I r square upon 2 x square plus r square raised to 3 by 2. Okay, this is the formula of the magnetic field at point P. This is the application of Biot-Savart law. Suppose this is the center O, then at the center magnetic field is defined as mu 0 I upon 2r. This is the important formula. Important formula for 1 mark question. Find out the magnetic field at the center of ring. So that is the mu 0 I upon 2r. This is the one ring. Suppose there are n rings. Okay, suppose there are n rings instead of one ring, then magnetic field due to n rings is Bu is equals to mu 0 I n upon 2r. Okay, so this is the first topic of the chapter number 4, Biot-Savart law. Now next topic of chapter number 4 was Ampere circuital law. So see, what is Ampere circuital law? Ampere circuital law is suppose there is one wire, okay, and we want to find out the magnetic field due to that wire. Then Ampere's circuital law suggests that the cyclic integration of magnetic field over some length or over a loop, okay, the cyclic integration of magnetic field over a loop is equals to mu 0 I in, where I in is the current enclosed by the loop. Suppose this is loop and there are 4 currents, 3 are inside, okay, 4th is outside. Then in I in there will be only 3 currents, I1, I2 and I3, but this magnetic field is due to this all 4 currents. Okay, so this is the Ampere circuital law, same as or equivalent as Gauss law in chapter number 1. Now you will remember the main application of Ampere circuital law, that is the, suppose this is wire and current I is flowing from this wire. Point P is at the distance r. Okay, then at point P magnetic field is B is equals to mu 0 I upon 2 pi r. Okay, at point P magnetic field is mu 0 I upon 2 pi r. This is the magnetic field due to current carrying wire according to Ampere circuital law. So you should actually remember 2 things. If you want to find out the magnetic field due to current carrying wire, then formula will be like this: Bp is equals to mu 0 I upon 2 pi r. But when we want to find out the magnetic field due to ring, okay, we want to find out magnetic field due to ring, then it has formula B is equals to mu 0 I upon 2r. There is not pi. In ring there is not pi at the center. This is the formula of magnetic field at center. So there is no pi in ring, but there is pi in wire. Okay, so this is the Ampere circuital law. Now next topic in this chapter is magnetic force. Okay, next topic is magnetic force. We can find out the magnetic force. We can find out magnetic force by 2 methods, by 2 formulas. One is magnetic force on charge, and another is magnetic force on current carrying loop. So suppose magnetic force. So suppose this is one wire, okay, current I is flowing. Now this is one point P, or take easier from this. Suppose this is the region in which there is uniform magnetic field. This is the region in which there is uniform magnetic field inside B. Okay, now here there is one charge Q. There is one charge Q entering to this magnetic field with some velocity V. Okay, this is the magnetic field. One charge is entering into this magnetic field with some velocity V. Then magnetic force on this charge is given as QV cross B. Okay, magnetic force is given as QV cross B. So that is actually also QVB sin theta. So this is the one formula of magnetic force. Another formula, suppose again this is the magnetic field. And suppose in this magnetic field there is current carrying wire. Then on this small element of current, so this is the small element of current of length dl. Then on the small element of current, magnetic force acting is IDL cross B. Okay, magnetic force acting on this wire, that is equals to IDL cross B. That is the IDLB sin theta. So see, both magnetic forces are depending on theta. So for both we should know the formula of the vector products, that is we have already studied in standard 11th. So this is the magnetic force. Okay, you can be asked 1 mark question or to prove this theory of magnetic force in 2 or 3 marks, or 1 mark question from this theory. Now there is another topic, that is the cyclotron. Okay, but actually cyclotron is based on this theory. Its principle is based on this theory, that is the, if charge Q is entering in this region perpendicular to the magnetic field. So suppose magnetic field is inside and suppose charge is entering like this, okay, magnetic field is inside and charge is entering like this, then on the charge some magnetic force will generate, and due to that this charge will be in uniform circular motion. Okay, so if it is in uniform circular motion, then there must be some centrifugal force, and that centrifugal force is magnetic force. So we can say that mv square upon r is equals to qvb. But this equation is only valid when charge is entering into the uniform magnetic field perpendicular to it. Okay, now you can see the theory of cyclotron. It is easy. Now next topic in this chapter is torque acting on the current carrying loop. Okay, torque acting on the current carrying loop. See, torque acting on the current carrying loop. So suppose this is one current carrying loop which is already in magnetic field. This is the magnetic field, and as magnets, these magnets will generate magnetic field. Okay, in this loop. Now from this loop, suppose current I is flowing, and we are placing one battery to flow the current. This battery will flow the current in the circuit. Then in this current carrying loop, on this current carrying loop, there will be torque generated, and this torque is equals to NIA cross B. Okay, this torque is equals to NIA cross B. So torque tau is equals to NIAB sin theta. Okay, or else we can also say that this NIA is magnetic dipole moment. This NIA is magnetic dipole moment. So we can say that torque tau is equals to MB sin theta. Okay, we can take the different various cases when theta is 0, when theta 90, when theta 180. So this is the torque acting on the magnetic dipole or current carrying loop. This current carrying loop is actually acting as magnetic dipole. Now compare this formula with the chapter number 1 formula torque, that is the PE sin theta. Okay, so this is the formula of torque. Now there is another thing in this chapter, that is the galvanometer. In galvanometer you should know about the shunt. Okay, actually to convert the galvanometer into a meter, we required one small resistance. That is called shunt. Okay, and to convert the galvanometer into voltmeter, we required one higher resistance, one big resistance. Okay, that is also called large resistance. So remember, to convert the galvanometer into a meter, we require the small resistance, that is called shunt. Okay, and it will be connected with resistance to parallel connection. And whereas to convert the galvanometer into voltmeter, we require larger resistance, and we will connect that larger resistance with external resistance in series connection. Okay, so this is the chapter number 4 revision. I hope you all have understood this. If still you have any doubt or any query, then message me in personal. I will give you a solution. Okay, thank you.